What if I told you every time you type something into ChatGPT, it doesn't search Google, it doesn't think, it actually predicts the next word, one token at a time. Sounds simple, but the reality is much deeper. And once you understand this, you'll never look at AI the same way again. Hey everyone, I'm Rajkumar, a software engineer at Infoedge, and I've been working on AI related systems for a long time now. From automation to building real AI pipelines. And today, I'll explain how ChatGPT actually works in the simplest way possible. Let's start from the core idea. ChatGPT is built on something called a large language model or LLM. And at its heart, it's not thinking, it's predicting. When you type a sentence, the model converts your text into tokens, small chunks of words or characters. Then it looks at those tokens and predicts the most likely next token. Then it repeats this process again and again and again until it forms a complete response. Think of it like this. You type, explain AI in simple terms. The model doesn't understand AI like a human, it just predicts what a good explanation should look like, based on patterns it learned during training. And here's the crazy part. This prediction is happening thousands of times in milliseconds. So where does this knowledge come from? Training. These models are trained on massive datasets, including books, websites, articles, code, and more. During training, the model learns patterns of language, like which words follow others, how sentences are structured, and how ideas connect. Over time, it becomes extremely good at predicting meaningful text. But raw training is not enough, because without control, the model might generate random or unsafe outputs. So after training comes something very important. Alignment. This includes techniques like reinforcement learning with human feedback, where humans guide the model to give better, safer, and more helpful responses. That's why ChatGPT doesn't just generate text, it generates useful text. Now let's go deeper, because prediction alone doesn't explain everything. How does ChatGPT understand your question so well? The answer is context. ChatGPT doesn't just look at your last message, it looks at the entire conversation. This is called the context window. It uses all previous messages to generate a more relevant response. That's why follow-up questions work so well. But there's a limitation. It doesn't remember forever. Once the conversation exceeds a certain limit, older parts get dropped. That's why long conversations sometimes lose context. Now here's something even more interesting. ChatGPT doesn't have real-time knowledge by default. It doesn't automatically know what's happening right now, unless connected to external tools or systems. So when it answers, it relies on patterns learned during training, not live data. And this leads to one major issue: hallucination. Sometimes, ChatGPT generates answers that sound correct but are actually wrong. Why? Because it's optimized for probability, not guaranteed truth. So how do modern systems improve this? By combining ChatGPT with tools. For example, connecting it to databases using retrieval systems, integrating APIs, adding memory layers. This turns ChatGPT from just a model into a complete AI system. And this is the big shift happening right now. ChatGPT is no longer just a chatbot. It's becoming the brain of intelligent systems. Systems that can write and execute code, automate workflows, analyze data, interact with software, and actually do things. So in simple terms, ChatGPT works by predicting the next word, using patterns learned from massive data, guided by training and alignment and enhanced by context. It's not thinking like a human, but it's incredibly good at mimicking intelligence. And the real power is not just using ChatGPT, but understanding how it works so you can build with it.